Hello and welcome to this episode of Mad Lads of World War II. In this episode we will be talking about Ernest Evans of the US Navy and his interesting story while he was in the 7th Fleet Escorts Carrier Task Unit 77.4.3, which went by the call name Taffy 3. So on October the 20th, 1944, Taffy 3 was defending North Leyte Gulf, east of Samar and off the San Bernardino Strait, and the Leyte beachhead of General MacArthur's return to the Philippines. At dawn, October 25th, 1944, a pilot flying patrol was surprised to see Japanese center force steaming into Leyte Gulf. The remaining force of 4 Japanese battleships, 8 cruisers, and at least 12 destroyers had reversed course under cover of darkness and transited through the unguarded San Bernardino Strait. There was no question what decisions Evans would make, despite only having 2 hours of fuel. All hands to general quarters prepared to attack major portion of the Japanese fleet. All engines ahead flank commenced making smoke and stand for a torpedo attack. Left full rudder. Every ship in Taffy 3's screen performed with extreme heroism that day, but as the gunnery officer of Johnston, whose first name I do not know, but his last name was Hagen, noted, "We were the first destroyer to make smoke, the first to start firing, the first to launch a torpedo attack." Once the Johnston got to within the range of its 5-inch guns, under a hail of Japanese fire, she fired more than 200 rounds and 10 torpedoes at Japan's heavy cruiser Kamano. Many shells and at least 1 torpedo hit, and the Kamano later sank, but Japanese shells found their mark as well. Johnston was shattered, the damage and casualties were horrific, and Evans himself was seriously wounded. Despite grave danger, greatly reduced speed and firepower, and no remaining torpedoes, Evans nevertheless chose to bring Johnston out of the refuge of a rain squall and commenced a second attack on the Japanese, supporting the whole him and Samuel B. Roberts as they were valiantly sacrificing themselves to protect the escort carriers in the ensuring melee. Limping along and 1 boiler, Johnston fired nearly 30 rounds in 40 seconds into a 30,000-ton battleship. Evans then noted Japanese ships had targeted the escort carrier Gambia Bay CVE-73. Hagen said, "His skipper gave me the most courageous order I've heard. Commence firing on that cruiser. Draw her fire on us and away from the Gambia Bay." Hagen continued, "We were now in a position where all the gallantry and guts in the world couldn't save us, but we figured that help for the carrier must be on the way, and every minute's delay might count." In the last stand of the Tin Can sailors, Captain Bob Copeland, the commanding officer of the Samuel B. Roberts, describes the moment that he watched the Johnston limp by slowly, with her captain calling orders down the hatch, where sailors were turning her rudder by hand. He was stripped to the waist and covered in blood, with his left hand wrapped in a handkerchief. When he saw Copeland, he waved. One by one, Johnston took on the Japanese destroyers, bluffing them into thinking she had torpedoes. After the first 2 turned away, the rest broke off to get out of Johnston's gun range to launch torpedoes. All missed. The charge ended Johnston's improbable 2.5-hour battle, surrounded by enemy ships and dead in the water with no boilers or power. Evans made the call at 9:45 a.m. to abandon ship. 25 minutes later, the destroyer rolled over and began to sink. One survivor said a Japanese destroyer captain saluted the ship as she went down. Of Johnston's crew of 327, only 141 survived. Johnston wasn't the only ship sacrificed that day. Both Hull and Samuel B. Roberts sank along with the Gambia Bay, and Hearman was pounded to a hulk. Taffy 3 did its damage, though, sinking 2 enemy cruisers while stopping the Central Fleet in the Battle of Samar. Evans was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, and his ship received 6 battle stars for her service in World War II, and the Presidential Unit Citation. In sacrificing his ship, most of his crew, and his life, Ernest Evans set an example of a credible resolve, followed by many others at the horrible day, and turned an almost certain catastrophe into a hard-fought victory. The skipper was a fighting man, from the soles of his broad feet to the ends of his straight black hair. He was an Oklahoman and proud of the Indian blood he had in him, Hagen said. The Johnston was a fighting ship, but he was the heart and soul of her. I wanted to be a part of the history that included people like him. That is why I joined the US Navy. Well, that was harrowing, wasn't it? Sacrificed himself to save many others. That concludes this episode of Mad Lads of World War II. You were watching the episode that was featuring the story of Ernest Evans of the US Navy. If you'd like to hit the subscribe button for more great historical content, that would be fantastic. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.